Well, good evening, India, and good morning, TNT. Welcome on behalf of GIBF. We all are here for an international webinar on investment and trade opportunities in Trinidad and Tobago, the gateway to Americas. We are looking in for these sectors: electrical intensive manufacturing, logistics, ship layup and offshore transshipment, voice contact center through this webinar. For the same, we have with us His Excellency Dr. Roger Gopal, High Commissioner of Trinidad and Tobago, Mr. Sekou Allen, President Invest TT, and Ms. Pramila Ramdhani, Vice President Investments Invest TT. I welcome all the dignitaries on the dais. I welcome all my colleagues at GIBF, and I request Sanket to play the video of Trinidad and Tobago.
Forged from the love of liberty in the fires of hope and prayer, with boundless faith in our destiny, we solemnly declare, side by side we stand, highlands of the blue Caribbean Sea, this our native land. We pledge our lives to thee. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation. Here every creed and race find an equal place, and may God bless our nation.
Well, thank you, Sanket, for playing that video. It's very interesting to know about what's happening there at Trinidad. Now I welcome Neil ma'am to tell us about GIBF.
Thank you, Dr. Ashutosh, for inviting me. Thank you. Welcome all the dignitaries of Trinidad and Tobago. It's a pleasure having you on board with GIBF. As the name signifies, Global India Business Forum, the whole sole aim to promote the idea of business between the two countries is the reason why we are here today. Global India Business Forum takes this opportunity to introduce the investment opportunities in Trinidad and Tobago for all those investors across India as well as the country in-house itself, that is Trinidad and Tobago. Right at the start, before we begin this webinar, I would take this opportunity also to introduce what Global India Business Forum is all about. Global India Business Forum has been in support of the micro and the small scale industries, young and upcoming entrepreneurs all over the world. Essentially, Global India Business Forum is a business think tank organization connecting businesses and businessmen globally. We provide ideas in the form of studies, surveys, reports, recommendations, quantitative and qualitative analysis. We provide ideas and mentors to support these ideas, institutional resources to nurture these ideas in a dynamic context. With a vision to create and build a world business community, GIBF or as fondly called Global India Business Forum, provides a common platform for businesses and entrepreneurs to share ideas and experiences for the entrepreneur development. We encourage newcomers, sought working solutions for them, with them, to network, to reach out, and this is not just restricted to India alone or to Indians, but this business opportunity is for all those Indians in India, overseas, various SMEs around the world. It brings the world together on a single platform. Global India Business Forum creates a point of contact to help and identify new opportunities, identify solutions for those who are looking forward for such opportunities. Global India Business Forum has done remarkable work in bringing together experts from around the world while keeping in connect with over 86 embassies, approximately 90,000 associate members from 137 countries, and over 350 organizations who have come together to benefit and derive benefit from Global India Business Forum. Global India Business Forum has successfully organized numerous trade fairs, exhibitions, webinars, and has brought together delegates from various countries, entrepreneurs from across the globe together on a single platform. Global India Business Forum's journey can be mapped through its flagship project, the e-magazine called The Business Tycoons. This is a very wonderful platform for where people can read about the success stories of various enterprises, of various path-breaking businessmen, as well as the upcoming issues from around the world. The Business Tycoon enjoys subscriptions of over 90 countries and has become one of the top business magazines with diversified industrial segment distributions. People from various sectors come and contribute in this magazine, and it is one of those e-magazines, those which can be easily accessed by everybody. It is a platform where young entrepreneurs from around the world can come forth with their innovative ideas, and for those who are in the micro and mini scale industry, come and share their success stories, share their products and services, and find a common platform for everybody to share and grow together. Thank you, Dr. Ashutosh, for giving me this opportunity to introduce Global India Business Forum. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Neil Kamal. Well, I'm really honored to be connected with GIBF as a life member, and I take this opportunity to introduce His Excellency Dr. Roger Gopal, who is amongst us, who is High Commissioner of Trinidad and Tobago. He holds Doctor of Philosophy in Management Sciences from Durban University of Technology. He has International Masters in Business Administration from University of West Indies. He has postgraduate certificate in business research from Edinburgh Business School. He is a professional chartered accountant of Association of Professional Chartered Accountants. Since January 2020, he holds High Commission of Trinidad and Tobago in New Delhi. Under his position, Trinidad and Tobago signed the International Solar Alliance Agreement. University of West Indies signed an MOA with Indian Ministry of Ayurveda, Yoga, Naturopathy, Unani, Siddha, and Homeopathy. He has also renewed an MOU for the promotion of cultural research, teaching, and development. Earlier, he held High Commissioner of Trinidad and Tobago at Pretoria, South Africa, where he did notable work for research, education, trade and investment, cultural diplomacy, energy initiatives, and so forth. Before this responsibility for more than 15 years, he served as a senior corporate consultant for management consultants in training, simultaneous to which he was assisting academics through Department of Entrepreneurship and Management of College of Science, Technology, and Applied Arts of Trinidad and Tobago. He has served as director for rural development of TNT also. He has co-authored a book chapter on strategic communications. He has facilitated workshops and presentations internationally at UK, Guyana, Jamaica, South Africa, Czech Republic, etc. Being interested in ancient literature, Hatha Yoga and meditation, he holds certificates in Advanced Vedanta, Upanishada, and Bhagavad Gita. And Dr. Roger Gopal, we are really honored to have you here. I request you to please go ahead and introduce our two other guests. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, Honorable Program Director, for that very wonderful introduction. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here today and to share a few words. It is truly my honor to be associated with GIBF, who I have met many months back and developed such a strong, friendly relationship. So namaste and greetings to all. I want to say particular hello and greetings to Dr. Joshi, Ms. Dipali, and the entire team from Global India Business Forum, GIBF. GIBF has been working for the promotion of the Indian industry, trade and entrepreneurship, as was introduced earlier on. And they act as a major catalyst and is forward-looking, proactive, and dynamic in the Pan-India Apex organization. GIBF has a membership base of over 90,000 companies spanning multiple sectors. So it is indeed a great privilege and opportunity for us at the High Commission of Trinidad and Tobago and our team in Trinidad to be part of this conclave. I also welcome our team from InvestTT. InvestTT is Trinidad and Tobago's national investment promotion agency aligned with the Ministry of Trade and Industry. InvestTT focuses on the attraction of foreign direct investment in the country's key sectors, such as innovative computer technology, logistics and distribution, maritime services, electricity-intensive manufacturing and assembly. InvestTT works in partnership with investors from the beginning of their site selection processes to the establishment of fully operating businesses. InvestTT is led by Mr. Sekou Allen, who is present with us today. Mr. Sekou Allen is the president of InvestTT. Mr. Pramila Ramdahani is the vice president of investments, and Mrs. Stacey Adams is the vice president of investor services. I take this opportunity to invite Mr. Allen, president of InvestTT, to take the floor.
Good afternoon, all. And I would like to say thank you to, hello?
Yes, we are hearing you.
Everyone hearing me? Yes, you're hearing me. Yes. Good afternoon, all. And I would like to thank the Global India Business Forum for inviting Trinidad and Tobago, and of course, the High Commissioner representing Trinidad and Tobago and InvestTT to the webinar to share investment opportunities, business opportunities, and access to business expansion opportunities in Trinidad and Tobago. We thank you for having us. And I invite my Vice President Investments to bring up the slide deck that we will be sharing with you to share more information on InvestTT, an overview on Trinidad and Tobago, as well as the investment opportunities that the members of the Global India Business Forum will have access to in Trinidad and Tobago. Ms. Ramdani?
Sekou, I'm sharing. Are you seeing it?
I am not seeing it, no.
Yes, I am actually seeing your screen, yes.
Yes, so we can see it.
Sure, for some reason, I am unable to see the screen, but I will work as we proceed. Just if we can look at the slide on the overview. Today, InvestTT will be taking you through just an overview of Invest Trinidad and Tobago and the work that we do and how we can assist members of the global.
Sekou? I think Sekou is experiencing some technical difficulty there. Can you just give us a quick minute? I think, let me see if he can come back on.
Yeah, no problem, ma'am.
Thank you. All right, thank you very much. I think I will join us until Seiko can rejoin. I believe he's having some technical difficulties. So I'm Pramila Ramdani. Seiko? Hi, Seiko. Hi, Seiko. Sure, yeah, when you get in, let me know. Thanks. Bye. I do apologize. Seiko is having some technical difficulties, so I will continue from here. Is everyone hearing me?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Excellent.
we are hearing
I'm Excellent. I'm Pramila Ramdani, Vice President of Investments at InvestTT, and I'm pleased to provide the investment opportunities in Trinidad and Tobago. Before I do so, I'll just give you a quick overview of the island of Trinidad and Tobago, and a little bit about our services at InvestTT. As His Excellency mentioned, we are the investment promotion agency for the government of Trinidad and Tobago, and we provide a number of services for foreign direct investors. Part of our services include pre-investment. So before you come into Trinidad and Tobago, we work with you in terms of providing you with information on various site visits, providing you with information about our sectors, our stakeholders, incentives to do business in Trinidad and Tobago, as well as on any real estate opportunities that you might be interested in. So we do provide you with all of that information before you land in Trinidad and Tobago. In addition, once you get here, we also provide you with various operational services. We link you with stakeholders if you require approvals for a real estate company, for instance, that you're developing. We also work with the stakeholders in helping to facilitate those services. So in other words, we are sort of the bridge between other service providers in Trinidad and Tobago to make your experience of doing business very easy in Trinidad and Tobago. In addition, once you set up business in Trinidad and Tobago, we're also responsible, or we also provide you with additional post-investment services. And so if you're planning on expanding your business in Trinidad and Tobago or growing it in another part of the country or Tobago as well, we also provide you with those services. And all of our services, because we are part of the government of Trinidad and Tobago, is free. So you don't have to pay for these services. And we welcome foreign businesses in Trinidad and Tobago.
Hi, thank you very much, Pramila.
You're welcome.
Alan, I am back. My apologies, all. The Global India Business Forum High Commissioner. My system seemed to have frozen right as I started speaking.
Yes.
Pramila, thank you very much for jumping in for me. And as I came in and heard Pramila saying, Pramila is very correct. We are really a business partner, and our services are free of charge. And really, InvestTT is looking forward to supporting your interests, not just in Trinidad and Tobago, but your interests in the region, in the Americas. And we believe that there's an opportunity for you to access those markets from a base in Trinidad and Tobago. And so more of an overview on Trinidad and Tobago. We are the most southerly islands in the Caribbean chain, extraordinarily strong economy and prime regional positioning with over 100 years of foreign direct investment attraction and foreign investment in the country, primarily in the oil and gas sector, which is really the basis of our strong economy and infrastructure. And the reason that we have an extraordinarily investor-friendly climate and policies that support the operations of foreign and local investors in Trinidad and Tobago. And we will talk a little bit more about that, those investment policies and the climate for investments. Why do investors choose, and why have they traditionally chosen Trinidad and Tobago? One, primarily the location at the southern, most southern region of the Caribbean, just off the coast of South America, that gives us a prime positioning, not only between North and South America, but also a prime positioning outside of most of the storms that pass through the Caribbean region every year. And so not only do you have a strong geographic location from the perspective of markets, but you also have a strong location from the perspective of business continuity and business disruptions. Our low business costs underlying a very low cost of energy rarely generated and developed from our oil and gas, and the fact that we produce our
You're mute.
Mr. Seco, you've gone on mute. If you can just unmute yourself, please.
Yes, sorry, my apologies. It said that the host muted me, sorry. Yeah, so our low business costs really built on the generation of our energy through natural gas, which we produce, that gives us very low cost of energy regionally and great. Hello?
I believe someone is on.
Yes, the host muted me again for some reason. And so, yes, we have very low business costs regionally, wide-ranging market access through our trade agreements with our regional partners, infrastructure from our airport, port, road, highway, and our telecommunications infrastructure. What you find is really a solid foundation on which a foreign investor can operate and access the markets that they are currently engaged in or that they are looking to expand into, all underlined by some attractive incentives that present the icing on the cake for investor considering expansion in the region. So a little bit more about the country and its facts. We are a parliamentary democracy, constitutional republic, very similar to India, with just 1.4 million people, with a substantive GDP per capita at 24.27 billion total GDP. Our Prime Minister is Dr. the Honorable Keith Rowley, and our Head of State and President, Her Excellency Paula May Weeks. We are, as you can see, primarily an English-speaking destination, and our capital is Port of Spain, with an exchange rate of just 6.7 TT dollars to $1 US, with a strong labor pool for the population of 623 some odd thousand people, and a very strong literacy rate. And you would find throughout the presentation the underlying message of a strong labor pool, skilled labor pool, as well as the infrastructure that will allow you to leverage not just the 1.4 million people, but the access to the markets to which we have trade agreements. And some of those markets include, one, our regional trading group, which is the CARICOM Common Market, and that includes most of the English-speaking Caribbean, as well as the Dominican Republic, Belize, Suriname, and Guyana. And that market of itself represents a 14 to 19 million person market within which there are free flow of goods and skilled workforce. And then the CARICOM trade grouping has significant trade agreements then with our global and regional partners. So we have agreements with the European Union, with Venezuela, Colombia, Costa Rica, the US, Dominican Republic, as well as a partial scope agreement with Canada. So what you really find is a destination that is intertwined with the large regional markets, particularly North America, Europe, and Central America, through which InvestTT can guide those that are looking for business opportunities in those markets to access those markets from a base in Trinidad and Tobago, and a base that already has a large and strong oil and gas sector that forms the basis for the power of this economy and the positioning of this economy regionally, and a very large manufacturing cluster and sector that supports and exports into the region. Trinidad and Tobago goods are very well known across the English-speaking Caribbean and further afield into the Spanish-speaking Central America and Caribbean. And we are also the cluster and head office for many of the large financial services and telecommunication services firms that operate in the region. So you are really looking at an atypical Caribbean economy that is based primarily on its industrialized nature, with Tobago being the smaller island that still gives you access to the sun, sea, and sand that is typical to the Caribbean region. And so, as I've indicated, Our market access, our skilled labor pool and infrastructure gives you access to a large amount of people in large markets. And while the large markets and number look good, InvestTT is poised to work with the individual members of the Global Business Forum to determine what their business interests are, what industry they are in, and really point them in the direction of building a business case for operating from Trinidad and Tobago. As I would have indicated earlier, you have not just access to a very strong and sound infrastructure in Trinidad and Tobago and labor pool, but business continuity is extraordinarily high in the region, given our location south of the hurricane belt, where you would find that we have a very low incidence of disruptions from the hurricane activity that typically happens between June and December of every year. We are actually in that period now, and again, we are just below that hurricane belt. So business continuity is particularly high. For those of you already operating in the region or considering the region, Trinidad and Tobago is really, should be your next choice. And so at this point, I will pass you over to Ms. Ramdani, our Vice President Investment, who heads up the team, many of whom are on the webinar today, that attracts and positions Trinidad and Tobago in terms of our priority investment opportunities. Ms. Ramdani will take you through those opportunities, after which we will both be available for questions thereafter. Over to you, Ms. Ramdani.
Thank you very much, Mr. Allen, and it's a pleasure for me to present to you the investment opportunities in Trinidad and Tobago. While we have several, today I'll be focusing on 4 key sectors, and then we can go in depth into others if you have any further questions. So the 4 sectors or the 4 prioritized investment opportunities I'll be looking at today includes electricity intensive manufacturing, logistics, ship layup, offshore shipment, as well as BPOs or voice contact centers. The first I'll begin with is the electricity intensive manufacturing, and several opportunities exist for manufacturing opportunities in Trinidad and Tobago, many of whose operations require ready accessibility to an abundant and dependable supply of low-cost energy. So some of the opportunities that exist within the sectors, the manufacturing sectors, include food, beverage, and tobacco product manufacturing, pulp manufacturing, as well as inorganic chemicals. So why Trinidad and Tobago for electricity intensive manufacturing? We offer several competitive advantages, including low cost of our utilities, access to international markets. As Mr. Allen mentioned, we are strategically located in the Caribbean with access to both North and South American markets. We're a gateway to the Americas. We also have a very high educated workforce and a specialized skilled workforce as well, both for the manufacturing sectors as well as the other sectors that I'll be looking at today. The other area that we have great opportunities for is in logistics. We do have opportunities for the establishment of a third-party logistics hub in Trinidad and Tobago that would provide integrated logistical solutions to not only our local markets, but also our regional markets. And within that, we also have opportunities for bonded warehouse establishment. Again, some of the reasons why we are very well positioned to host these opportunities include our location and access to international markets, our very well developed port infrastructure. We have 2 ports in Trinidad and Tobago, and we do have opportunities next to the ports, and I'll go through those in a minute. As I mentioned, one of our key ports is the Point Lisas Industrial Estate port, and that's located next to one of our largest industrial parks that we're currently developing, which is the Phoenix Park Industrial Estate. In terms of maritime services as well, we do have, this is another priority investment opportunity in Trinidad and Tobago. And we are strategically located to offer several services in the maritime sector. And these include both transshipment as well as ship layups. We have a very large natural deep water harbor sheltered Deepwater Harbor. We are in the hurricane safety belt. Trinidad and Tobago has the lowest downtime in terms of impact from the hurricane, as Mr. Allen just mentioned. We also have a very well-developed maritime infrastructure and economically viable solutions to host ship layups in our waters. So we offer both cold layup opportunities as well as warm layup opportunities. And ships are usually laid up when freight rates are not sufficient to cover the running costs, as well as when they're temporarily idle due to a lack of cargo or which are temporarily phased out of the commercial operation. So during those times, we do have zones within Trinidad and Tobago where those opportunities can be hosted or provided. I don't believe you see my entire screen. Just go back in. So this here is offshore transshipment opportunities. Again, the setup of ship-to-ship transfer operations within pre-designed locations within the Gulf of Paria. As you know, Trinidad and Tobago is an island, and Gulf of Paria is one of the gulfs that we are within, and hence we have various zones within the Gulf of Paria that offers transshipment opportunities as well as ship layouts. Another great opportunity in Trinidad and Tobago, or one of our investment priorities, is in business process outsourcing or nearshoring opportunities. We do have several opportunities in Trinidad and Tobago where call centers can be established. And we offer several strategic advantages or competitive advantages where businesses can use Trinidad and Tobago as a nearshore operation. We have very low operational costs compared to our neighbors, both in the Caribbean as well as in South America. We also have an unsaturated labor force, highly skilled labor force, and very literate labor force. We do have, as a small island, we do have a large number of post-secondary institutions. And at this time, we do have underemployment, where we have many skilled young people with looking for opportunities in this area. We also have advanced digital infrastructure in the Caribbean, cultural affinity to the United States, and English language, as Mr. Allen mentioned, is one of our dominant languages in Trinidad and Tobago. As I mentioned, we do have a 99% literacy rate. We also have the infrastructure for BPO operations, both real estate opportunities as well as work from home models. These are some of the advantages in terms of our advanced digital infrastructure in the Caribbean that really facilitates BPO operations. This gives you an idea of the mobile, internet, and social media usage in Trinidad and Tobago. Of our population of 1.4 million, we do have mobile connections of about 1.91 million, which means that people have multiple phones. In terms of internet usage, we have approximately 1.08 million people who are currently on the internet. And as well, we have an active social media population. This provides an overview of the quality of ICT compared with our Caribbean as well as our Latin American neighbors. It provides an overview of the assessment of electricity. As I mentioned, we have some of the lowest utility costs in the Caribbean and South America. It also looks at the internet download speeds, internet penetration, the ICT cost, internet upload speeds, landline telephones, and also secure internet servers and modular cellular subscription. And as you can see, Trinidad and Tobago, it's comparison with both the Caribbean as well as in Latin America. In terms, again, with our BPO sector, in terms of total cost, Trinidad and Tobago, again, ranks very low compared to both Jamaica as well as Panama. The annual operating cost for both labor and utility costs is taken into consideration here. And Trinidad and Tobago offers some of the lowest costs in these two areas, labor and utility. This is another snapshot of our regional comparison when it comes to electricity supply, as well as the transparency of tariff index and power transmission. The red areas are the electric power transmission. And again, it provides an overview of Trinidad and Tobago in the context of our Caribbean neighbors and Latin American neighbors. So when it comes to nearshoring opportunities or BPO opportunities, Trinidad and Tobago, certainly because of its robust digital infrastructure, offers a very great opportunity and a stable infrastructure where you can set up operations. So in summary, therefore, we offer a stable infrastructure, diverse and educated talent pool, as well as an excellent geographic location. And we have emerged as a serious contender when it comes to supporting the work from home models for BPO because of our robust digital infrastructure. So we are Trinidad and Tobago is ideally positioned to support the delivery of business process outsourcing centers. If you're interested in those, we'd be happy to speak with you more on the opportunities that exist in Trinidad and Tobago and why Trinidad and Tobago is well positioned to be the nearshoring location for the Caribbean and South America. In terms of our industrial real estate opportunities, I'll just go through briefly two of our industrial real estate opportunities. I mentioned earlier the Phoenix Park Industrial Estate. This is one of our largest industrial park and most modern park that is currently under development. It consists of, it's 144 acres, this park, and it consists of leasable lots for 3 clusters, light manufacturing, ICT, and logistics. So with my earlier slides, I did mention logistics. Trinidad and Tobago is a destination for perhaps a logistics center. This is an opportunity. You can set up a logistics center right at this park. It also has zones for light manufacturing or electricity intensive manufacturing opportunities. There are 76 land lots, and these land lots range anywhere from half an acre to 2 acres. They are available at this time. We also have pre-built factory shells, 5 factory shells, and they're approximately 50,000 square feet. 2 leasable lots also exist for commercial opportunities. And this park is strategically located to one of our second largest ports in Trinidad and Tobago. It is just 10 minutes away from the port of Point Lisas. I should also mention that the Phoenix Park Industrial Estate is also 5G network. It's the only industrial park in Latin America and the Caribbean that will be powered by 5G digital infrastructure. It also has underground, all utilities are underground, electrical, telecommunication, they're underground, natural gas supply to about 41 of the lots, LED street lights throughout, and certainly it will be fully secured with both a surveillance system as well as high security fencing. As I mentioned, Trinidad and Tobago has 2 key ports. One is in our capital city, Port of Spain, and the second is located right next to this industrial park in Point Lisas. So we lie right within that Caribbean transshipment triangle. So the Caribbean transshipment triangle is really a geographical region where most of the shipping occurs in the Caribbean. And so we are right smack in the middle of that triangle. One of our other industrial real estate opportunities include our Tamina Intech Park. And this park itself, sits on 1,100 acres of land, and lots of opportunities are available on this park as well. It could be a future city center, a place to set up roots, to grow. Again, we can have different types of operations in the priority sectors that I mentioned, like manufacturing, ICT opportunities exist here, as well as other types of digital projects. And this park, I should mention, is also situated away from city congestion. And so it offers some select opportunities there that you might want to explore as well. So in a nutshell, those are our digital opportunities. Those are our prioritized investment opportunities at Trinidad and Tobago. And so both Mr. Allen and myself, we are available for further questions. Thank you very much for the opportunity to present.
Thank you very much, Ms. Ramdani. And so Ms. Ramdani and I, Mr. Allen, are available for any questions and answers. So we hand back over to the organizers to start the question and answer period.
Dear participants, if you have any questions, you can put it on chat box or you can unmute yourself and please ask.
Dr. Ashutosh, I have a question here.
Yes, please.
What are the investment requirements for offshore bulk transshipment port in TNT? I mean, is there any requirements that we're looking at?
Well, the investment requirements really are to set up a legal entity in Trinidad and Tobago that would engage in the activity, and InvestTT would support you, assist you in doing so. And we would play a key liaison through the regulatory agency, which is the Maritime Services Division. They have identified several areas within the Gulf of Paria where bulk transshipment can occur. And so there is an application process once you have set up your local legal entity to access those areas in the Gulf of Paria to engage in transshipment. Again, InvestTT will lead you through that process. So it's a quite simple process. Basically, you would have to identify the space in which you would do the bulk transshipment. You would also identify the particular good to be transshipped. There's currently a German firm by the name of Oldendorf that is transshipping iron ore and bauxite that they would get out of Brazil and Venezuela, and they transship that into China. So you would identify the goods to be transshipped, the volume of the goods to be transshipped, and application then would be considered and approved at Maritime Services. And then InvestTT would support the other regulatory agency requirements for supporting the operation. So it's quite a seamless process. We hold your hand throughout, and you can invest fully as a foreign investor, 100%. Or if you are so inclined, you can look at potentially doing a joint venture with a local shipping firm that would have more information and access to the market in Trinidad and Tobago.
Thank you, Mr. Sikau. And what kind of incentive does Trinidad and Tobago offer the investors? What incentives are we looking at here?
Well, there are several incentives, some of which would depend on the type of industry you would be investing in. But overall, we currently have a free zone incentive that is being transformed into a special economic zone incentive. And special economic zones will be located in different locations across the country, as well as that can be located at your particular operation. And that would offer duty-free imports of raw materials, machinery, and equipment, as well as value-added tax-free imports of that equipment and raw material, as well as a lowered corporate tax regime. So we are currently transitioning into the special economic zone regime that should be available in September. And outside of that, we also do have the Fiscal Incentives Act regime that applies to manufacturers and service providers who again benefit from duty-free imports and raw materials and equipment, and then have the opportunity to export export the finished goods into the regional markets duty-free through our trade agreements into the CARICOM market and to markets like Colombia, Costa Rica, Cuba, Dominican Republic, etc. So the incentives offer you the opportunity to have a very low cost of operation in terms of your inputs, and gives you access to the markets at a low cost and a competitive into the markets that matter.
Right, thank you. Would you be able to share a little more light on voice contact centers that we're talking about? Because there's a lot call on that right now as we speak. So if you can just share a little more, information on voice call centers, that would be great for our listeners.
Sure, I can. This is one of the very exciting opportunities in Trinidad and Tobago that we're seeing a lot of interest in. So we know that India has a very large call center business process outsourcing and technology sector that is currently providing services back to the US market. I know many are looking at a nearshore location to support their operations out of India, and the nearshore location offers the benefits of time zone congruity with the eastern seaboard of the United States, as well as lessening executive fatigue in terms of travel, direct flights into Miami and New York, as well as the cultural affinity that the labor pool in the nearshore can offer. And Trinidad and Tobago ticks all of those boxes. English-speaking labor pool, as Pramila talked about, very low operational costs in terms of telecommunications, as well as the labor cost itself. And so we are, and one of the unique things about us is that we are not saturated. So you're not going to be competing with the large BPO firms globally in Trinidad and Tobago. It's a greenfield opportunity where you can operate at a similar labor cost to Jamaica or Colombia and provide services through our telecom infrastructure back into the US markets with quick direct flights into Miami, 3.5 hours, 4 hours into New York, direct flights into Panama and Houston as well. And already have operations in the Latin America region. Trinidad and Tobago forms an unsaturated secondary location to add to your redundancy in the region. And if in fact you do not have a nearshore location thus far, Trinidad is a great opportunity for your first nearshore location to provide English-speaking skills and services, as well as tech support to your current and or new clients in the US market. So we really look forward to any of your membership that is interested in taking advantage of that unsaturated market opportunity.
Right, thank you, Mr. Seco. There's another question that I read here is, how can we increase the foreign investments in Trinidad and Tobago?
How can we increase the foreign investments in Trinidad and Tobago?
Yeah.
Yes. By having most of your membership follow up with the High Commission and bringing your project to InvestTT. We're looking forward to deepening the business and cultural connections between India and Trinidad and Tobago, and really hosting many more of these events, generating more awareness of the opportunities in Trinidad and Tobago, and working with the individual investors to support their business expansion interests in the region. Really, investment ends up being a one-on-one game, and it's really an operation in which we need to understand more about the individual business expansion goals. And again, we through the government of Trinidad and Tobago support these investors free of charge, and provide all the information and support to take advantage of those opportunities.
Right, thank you again. There's a very nice question, a simple question, but there's a lot of answer there. Why is alternative energy important to the Caribbean? Since we are looking at other investments.
Why is it important?
Why is alternative energy important to the Caribbean?
It is absolutely important globally. We would all have been seeing the impacts of climate change, and those impacts are to strengthen. So I think globally, alternative energy is important to reverse the clock on climate change. Particularly in the Caribbean region, we are particularly vulnerable, given that we are islands surrounded by the ocean, small island developing economies. And so it's particularly important in the Caribbean region where storms come through while we are below the hurricane belt. Alternative energy, that sun, the ample amount of sun and wind that we get in the Caribbean, can be very important. And in fact, Trinidad and Tobago is currently working with a consortium that is developing 100 megawatt solar farm in Trinidad and Tobago. And we do target to produce 10% of our electricity from alternative energy sources by 2025. And we are on target to hit that. So the government is supportive of and has the policy to generate alternative energies. And as those investment opportunities become available, we can share those through the Indian High Commission with Indian firms as well.
Right. There's another one. It's asking for the loan system in Trinidad and Tobago. Do the banks there provide the loan repayment systems along with the rate of ROI? It says ROI. It's on the chat box. If you can elaborate on the loan systems in Trinidad and Tobago.
Sure. Trinidad has a very well-developed financial services system. In fact, we are the financial services hub for the English-speaking Caribbean with a large amount of foreign investments, particularly the Canadian banks are well-networked in Trinidad and across the region, Scotiabank, Royal Bank of Canada, CIBC, as well as we have some very strong domestic banks that have a strong regional positioning, Republic Bank, First Citizens as well. And those banks do offer loans, commercial loans, in fact, do a lot of commercial business with foreign and local investors. And so InvestET is well connected, in fact, has key connections in each of those major banks for investors that would need to set up business accounts and would want to access money transfer services as well as loan services from those banks. So our financial system, very well networked, well functioning, and Trinidad is a strong regional base in which you can access financial services to support your business expansion goals in the region.
Thanks again. And then we would also want to know more on the 3PL service provider business opportunities in TNT.
I'm sorry, can you repeat?
Want to know more about the 3PL service provider business opportunities. The 3PL, third-party logistics. This is more of a logistics-oriented question.
Yes, the third-party logistics. Yes, so again, our regional positioning, Ms. Ramdani would have talked about our regional positioning in that Caribbean triangle of transshipment. Again, being a major economy with a high GDP per capita, our demand is very strong. We already currently play a hub and spoke model for the English-speaking Caribbean, many of the goods being shipped in through Trinidad, and Trinidad being used as a logistics or a breakdown hub for then distribution of those goods into the South America, the English-speaking South America, and to the smaller Southern Caribbean islands. And so we find that firms that are already doing a lot of trade through Trinidad and Tobago are actually looking to set up third-party logistics centers to bring more efficient import-export services such that they can become more price competitive in this region. And more importantly, the government has recognized that and has made Phoenix Park Industrial Estate, which is a new 5G networked estate that we are developing in very close proximity to the port, an estate which will also be a special economic zone that will add even more incentives for third-party logistics. So our regional positioning, our trade positioning, trade agreements, the real estate opportunities that are very close proximity to the port offer 4 major benefits for the setup of third-party logistics. Again, InvestET is really interested in interacting individually with companies that are interested. You look at the goods that you'll be importing and exporting and working with you to build out the business value proposition for setting up in Trinidad. Thank
you. When we talk about information technology investments, can you just talk more on that? We would like to understand, because the audience, what we have is a mixed bag. You have somebody from the 4 sectors that we've identified. Plus, we've got some who would be interested in more on textile investments across, have trade fairs or trade relationship on textile-related businesses. Or you also have someone who is purely interested in information technology investments. So if you can just identify or, let us know how would one want to go if he wants to go into these 3 sectors, apart from the ones those who have already identified in the webinar today. Sure.
I'll start with information technology, and it's very similar to the business process outsourcing opportunity. It's really a nearshore base from which firms can access talent, software development talent, tech support talent to provide services on projects back into the US market. and leverage the benefits of our infrastructure and a well-networked island. And Ms. Ramdani would have talked about our activity on social media, our telecom, internet penetration, our mobile penetration, and regionally, comparatively speaking, we are ahead of the Caribbean and Latin American countries in that regard. And so you're looking at a country that has an avaricious appetite for technology, as well as a labor pool that is well-educated, and InvestTT as a partner that can support understanding more about the skill level required for providing software development services into the US markets, and can identify that talent for you through labor pool surveys, through our interactions with the tertiary level institutions, of which there are many, to give you access to a labor pool that can provide English-speaking technical services with strong cultural affinity back to the US market. So we understand, again, that's a very strong sector for India, and that many of you may be looking for opportunities to provide nearshore services or opportunities to provide a new nearshore location for your clientele. So we look forward to those interactions. From a textile standpoint, I think textile would be falling under the manufacturing and the benefits of doing Trinidad and Tobago. Again, to those that are already accessing markets in the US, Canada, and Colombia from India, there's an opportunity to set up a well-scaled facility to do either final assembly and or full textile manufacturing in Trinidad and Tobago on a smaller scale, or even prior to that, a third-party logistics center that can support the accumulation of your goods and distribution of your goods into the regional markets with the support of our trade agreement. So please note that the investment opportunities that we have provided are not exhaustive. These are the ones that we are focused on, but depending on the elements of your investment and your industry, we are ready to work very closely with any firms from India in terms of to support your business expansion goals. So I know you asked about information technology and textiles. There was
yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Was there a third one that I missed?
No, you haven't. The two industries specifically, yes.
Okay.
Participants would also like to know, or they are rather interested to know, the weather conditions, temperatures, minimum, maximum rain frequencies, hurricane possibilities and incidences in a year.
Wow. Well, I'm happy to say we are a warm country. We are in the Caribbean. And so you're not lower than 22 degrees Celsius at night. And we go up to a maximum of 32, 33 degrees Celsius during the day. We have a dry and a rainy season. Right now, we are in the rainy season. In the dry season, you have low incidences of rain, and in rainy seasons, you have more rain. The hurricanes and tropical storms do impact the Caribbean substantively, but again, because we are so far south, we are typically not affected by those storms and have very low incidences of those storms in Trinidad and Tobago, and so you will not see the level of business disruption that you see in many of the other Caribbean islands. Leveraging on our great weather patterns, we have a lot of great and amazing cultural activity, many of which is based on our historical connection with India, and most importantly, a love for cricket. So we look forward to facilitating investments and really providing a quality of life that supports your business expansion goals. So you will not only succeed in expanding in Trinidad and Tobago, but you will have a lot of fun doing so.
Right, thank you. Any more other questions that we can have, participants? Okay, we have one question from Mr. Ramareddy. Are there any FMCG MNCs manufacturing factories operating in Trinidad and Tobago? Are there any you want me to repeat the question once again, or is it okay?
No, I've gotten the question. So the person is asking about fast-moving consumer goods.
Yes.
And we do have a large firm, Nestle, actually, in the food and beverage sector that is manufacturing in Trinidad and Tobago, tied into the dairy farmers locally and providing goods to the local market as well as the regional market. And we do also have a very large domestic-based fast-moving consumer good manufacturing capability. Ms. Ramdan, you correct me if I'm wrong with respect to the MNCs, but certainly many of the fast-moving consumer goods that are manufactured in Trinidad are from domestic companies that support and export into the Caribbean and the Latin American region. So that is in fact a well-developed cluster in particularly under the food and beverage sector that is supported by our Trinidad and Tobago Manufacturers Association. And we would love to look at any opportunities for Indian firms that are interested in using Trinidad as a base for the production of FMCG goods.
There's a very interesting question from one Dr. Samir Jadhav. He said he wants to know on the agricultural milk and milk products market in TNT.
Yeah, in fact, funny enough, the company Nestle, they are one of the major operators in that market, and they have very strong links with the dairy farmers in Trinidad and Tobago to use that raw material to produce milks and other related milk products for Trinidad and Tobago and the region. And so you can sort of leverage the success that Nestle has had in Trinidad and Tobago producing from this market. And certainly we look forward to providing more specific detail to you based on that particular interest. But certainly Nestle is demonstrable of how successful one can be in that industry operating from Trinidad and Tobago.
There's another cue to Dr. Roger, his High Commissioner. So this is a question for you. Are there any plans of projecting Hatha Yoga meditation in TNT?
Well, I must say it is an interesting question. And but just to simply give an answer, there are various ways in terms of promoting Hatha Yoga and meditation in Trinidad and Tobago. The one way is that there are numerous institutions and organizations in Trinidad and Tobago that is teaching meditation and Hatha Yoga with links to various organizations in India, and particularly from Rishikesh, some being the Swami Shivananda Ashram, Paramat Niketan, and even the Brahma Kumaris Raja Yoga Center, the Hare Krishna movement, which is International Society for Krishna Consciousness. They are there. So that's one aspect. But we also tried to formalize some of the Ayurvedic and other forms of natural medicine and philosophies. So the University of the West Indies and the Ministry of Ayush signed an MOU, and it is an area where we are collaborating to promote some of the traditional medicines and natural remedies from India to Trinidad and Tobago. So yes, a lot is being done currently in this particular area, and we hope that it will continue to expand. So thank you very much for that very interesting question.
We have two more questions out. Okay, there we have on the automobile industry. It says, it was asked one of, how is the automotive sector in TNT? Do you have manufacturing or only distribution?
We do not have manufacturing at this point. We have primarily distribution. So we have local firms that have the franchises for the main automobile manufacturers that import and distribute the automobiles locally. We do not currently have manufacturing at this point. We did some years ago, but not now.
Okay. Then there's another question related to medical tourism or treatment services, the hospital services in TNT.
Well, we do have a large private medical services sector as well as public. So the opportunities for offering private medical services to tourists is there. Currently, primarily the private medical services are provided to local and regional, many regional players, because of the strength of our medical services system, do come in for private medical services. Not so much international. However, I think the opportunity is there for medical tourism based on the infrastructure and the amount of doctors, et cetera. And I think there's also an opportunity for telehealth, which is expanding now, particularly in COVID period, so providing offshore and nearshore distance or remote medical services and diagnostic services as well. So an opportunity that we can definitely look at with individually interested investors.
Any more questions? Do we have any trade partners who are participating from TNT who are participating in today's webinar from your side, Mr. Secretary?
Oh, we do not. We focused on the Global India Forum and members today. So it's just the InvestTT team that are participating in this forum.
Okay. Right.
I think we should proceed to the Thanksgiving because this session will be also live on Facebook. So we will be getting few questions over there also. So whatever questions we get there, we'll be sending it through mail. So we will answer our audience through mail too. So this session is always going to be live on the Facebook. And I think it's time. So we should proceed with the Thanksgiving, ma'am.
Yeah. So can we request Rotary Manpreet Singh, who's President, India Chamber of International Business, to propose a vote of thanks?
I think Dr. Ashutosh, he was not able to connect due to some technical issue. I will proceed with the vote of thanks here.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Ashutosh. This is my privilege to have all of these dignitaries join us today. So I give my special regards to the High Commissioner, Dr. Roger Gopal, and Sekhau Ellen, the President, and Madam Pramila Ramdahani, Vice President Investments at InvestTT. Thank you once again from GIBF team for bringing this business opportunities to India and our investors. I also thank all the participants who attended the webinar today for their time given, and we hope that we've managed to answer all your question and answer. In case if you have any questions, like rightly said by our director, Madam Dipali Gadkari, you may please log on to our website, the Facebook, and click your questions, and we will try and answer you through your emails. Please leave your email and numbers. We can get in touch with you. I also take this opportunity to thank the GIBF team, the IT team, the marketing team, as well as my President, Dr. Jitendra Joshi, and Director, Madam Dipali Gadkari, for giving us this podium where we could meet together. Having said that, I, Nilka Malanchan, on behalf of Global India Business Forum, take this opportunity to thank once again everyone for your time, and it was indeed the knowledge transfer that we had today. Having said that, take care, see you. We end the session now. Thanks. Until we meet again.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all. Goodbye. Have a good day.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.